Hello students. In my previous audio presentation, I discussed up to snow had not drifted, and Shitan kept a sort of a hairpin to make the other drivers aware of this steep, narrow, mountainous slope region, and this place full of snowfall, and their journey got interrupted, or rather yes, the journey of the author along with them got interrupted, so he wanted to make the other drivers cautious about it. So we have read up to this. Now let me continue the remaining part of their journey. I checked my watch. I means the author Nick Middleton, and I already told you that apart from giving the time, it also gives the measurement of the height, or altimeter. We can say it's altimeter. That means the measurement regarding altitude, how much altitude a person had traveled or ascended. That altimeter, it is an altimeter watch. So I repeat, I checked my watch again as we continued to climb in the bright sunshine. We crept past 5,400 meters, and my head began to beat horribly. It happens if you climb higher altitude. There I already told you, and it was written previously also, breathing problem starts. Then voices of other people are less audible in the ear, and most importantly, because of high altitude, sometimes there is headache. That is also quite a familiar thing. I checked my watch again as we continued to climb in the bright sunshine. We crept past 5,400 meters, and my head began to throb horribly. I took gulps from my water bottle, which is supposed to help a rapid ascent, and also in order to avoid getting dehydrated, the author went on sipping water from his water bottle, or taking or drinking water from his water bottle in order to avoid dehydration. We finally reached the top of the pass at 5,515 meters. The altitude, it can be measured because of his altimeter watch. It was marked by a large cairn of rocks. That means rocks been spread or encircled in a particular place. We can say it is cairn, C-A-I-R-N. That means rocks are scattered, or it formed a sort of a semicircle, or it encircled a particular place. We call it a cairn of rocks, festooned with white silk scarves. Festoon means beautifully decorated with white silk scarves and ragged prayer flags. Now this is a very common thing. If you have seen pictures of mountainous regions in Asia, you will find that prayer flags are there at the top of the summit. Prayer flags, it's a Buddhist myth or belief in tradition that prayer flags, festoons, these things are seen actually. We all took a turn around the cairn in a clockwise direction, as is the tradition or norm, and Shitan checked the tires of his vehicle. He stopped at the petrol tank. There is a petrol pump also, or a gas station we can say, and partially unscrewed the top, which emitted a loud hiss. Why? Because the excess of atmospheric pressure will be released. Otherwise, it could have caused accident, because the engine would have blasted because of too much pressure, because of the higher altitude. So let me continue this line. He stopped at the petrol tank and partially unscrewed the top, which emitted a loud hiss. The lower atmospheric pressure was allowing the fuel to expand. It sounded dangerous to me. Maybe, sir. Shitan laughed, but no smoking. The important thing is that Shitan did the right thing. He showed great presence of mind and unscrewed the top of the bonnet of the car. so that the excess pressure can be released. My headache soon cleared as we carried down, as we climbed down. That is the meaning of the term carried down. C-A-R-E-E-R-E-D, carried down, as we climbed down the other side of the pass. It was 2 o'clock by the time we stopped for lunch. So the journey, they had started most probably at the wee hours of the morning, at the early hours of the morning, and now by 2 o'clock they stopped and they now decided to have some lunch. We ate hot noodles inside a long canvas tent. So inside a long tent or inside a long canvas tent, the author along with Shitan and Daniel, they ate hot noodles. Part of a work camp erected beside a dry salt lake. The plateau is pockmarked with salt flats and brackish lakes, vestiges of the Tethys Ocean, which bordered Tibet before the great continental collision that lifted it skyward. This is a very important line. The important thing is that they had some noodles, hot noodles, and now there was an information being given about the great continental collision that actually molded the shape of the Tethys Ocean. So that was the great continental collision that the author talked about. Now apart from that, this one was a hive of activity. That place was actually full of people. That particular region where they stopped for lunch, and that particular place where the great continental collision happened many years ago, and that reshaped the Tethys Ocean. So there only the author saw a large number of people. What these people were doing? They were actually cleaning the road with the help of ice axes and shovels. They were actually cleaning the road because the road has been covered with excess snowfall. So I am coming to that line. This one was a hive of activity. Men with pickaxes and shovels, I already talked about it right now. Men with pickaxes and shovels trudging back and forth in their long sheepskin coats and salt encrusted boots. All wore sunglasses against the glare as a steady stream of blue trucks emerged from the blindingly white lake laden with piles of salt. Now why they were wearing glasses? Because in high altitude it might damage the eyes. So if you have seen winter sports, and particularly sports that is related with snow, winter sports in Switzerland or else in Russia, if you have seen all this in sports channel, you will find that when they are having those ice skating at that time, or they are playing ice hockey at that time, they will find that they were wearing big sunglasses. Why? Because direct contact with the sun at the higher altitude might damage the eyes. So that was the reason. Now all wore sunglasses against the glare as a steady stream of blue trucks emerged from the blindingly white lake laden with piles of salt. And that place was filled with people. So I already told you, hive of activity, and few more people, or rather few more vehicles, blue trucks emerged also from that place. That place was already laden. Laden means totally covered with piles of snow and piles of salt also. So that was the scene that was seen by the author. Now let me move on to the next paragraph. By late afternoon, we had reached the small town of Hor, and this particular description about Hor is very important for your short questions also. This particular description of the town Hor. So I repeat, by late afternoon, we had reached the small town of Hor, back on the main east-west highway that followed the old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. And it actually followed the old trade route that actually is from Lhasa, it goes to Kashmir. Daniel, who was returning to Lhasa, found a ride in a truck. So Shitan and I bade him farewell outside a tire repair shop. So Daniel's journey with the author and Shitan ended here. Now Daniel decided to go back. So he went back in a truck, and the author, that is Nick Middleton, and Shitan, both of them bade him goodbye. We had suffered, and actually there was puncture on the tires of the car, and see, it is written here, I repeat, who were returning to Lhasa found a ride in a truck. So Shitan and I bade him farewell outside a tire repair shop. We had suffered 2 punctures in quick succession, one after another. That is the meaning of the term quick succession on the drive down from the Salt Lake, and Shitan was eager to have them fixed, since they left him with no spare parts. No spare part is there, so obviously it had to be fixed. That was the reason Shitan and the author, they both were near a tire repair shop. We had suffered 2 punctures in quick succession on the drive down from the Salt Lake, and Shitan was eager to have them fixed, since they left him with no spares. Besides, the second tire he had changed had been replaced by one that was as smooth as my bald head. So a fresh new tire was been given. So the tire was replaced with a brand new one, and the new tire, it was so smooth that the smoothness of the new tire was compared by the author in such a hilarious manner. He told, in a very frank manner, he told that the smooth tire, the shape was so smooth that it can be compared with the bald head of the narrator. Now, I already told you that Hor was a very grim and miserable place. So let me continue with the next paragraph. Hor was a grim and miserable place. There was no vegetation whatsoever. I already told you that place was very rugged, bleak, miserable place. And important, short question from this portion is very important. Description of Hor. Just dust and rocks, liberally scattered with years of accumulated waste products. That is the meaning of the term refuse, which was unfortunate given that the town sat on the shore of Lake Mansarovar. This is a tourist hub. This place is actually the gateway. If you want to visit Mount Kailash, you have to pass by Hor. But this place is full of dirt and dust. Refuse or waste products litter around. Very unfortunate, because this town actually is near the shore of Lake Mansarovar, Tibet's most venerated stretch of water. Venerated means something that means respected, very auspicious. Ancient Hindu and Buddhist cosmology pinpoints Mansarovar as the source of 4 great Indian rivers: the Indus, the Ganges, the Satluj, and the Brahmaputra. Actually, only the Satluj flows from the lake, but the headwaters of the others all rise nearby on the flanks of Mount Kailash. We were within striking distance of the great mountain, and I was eager to forge ahead. Forge ahead means to move ahead. And now it seems to the narrator that he is very much in striking distance to Mount Kailash, and he decided to move ahead. So dear students, I stop my discussion here. Listen to this audio discussion. Again from the next paragraph I will continue. Thank you students. Thank you all.